here live on your screen. And this is all about fueling your life through property, which many people have different perceptions about. So this is cool. So the first thing that we need to do is because I think it's bank holiday in England, right? Yeah, is it bank holiday in Spain?
Nope.
No? Okay, so we're going to get sharing. So you guys share this on your timeline right now. I will do the same thing because that's what we want to do. I want you to get it sharing so we can get some people on here, because what we're going to be talking about tonight is not only just fueling through property, but what happens through the cycles of property when you acquire a lot of deals and a lot of mayhem and chaos comes your way, and then all of a sudden you learn a lot of lessons, but maybe or maybe not, your pipeline is got the amount of deals that you want in it, or it may not have. And like, what are the things that happen when we're doing it like that? So if you're on here right now, please comment so we can know who you are. Put hashtag live or put hashtag replay if you're watching it on the replay. I'm going to get myself over to the real life group page so I can find this video right now. And what I want you guys to comment so we know who you are. Yeah, and tell us what it is that you're doing on this fine bank holiday weekend, if you're in the UK, that is. And then what I want you to do is share it on your timeline. I'm going to share this on my timeline right now. And why we want to do that? Why I want to do that? Because we want to give people at least the opportunity to see what we're talking about here. Because I think if anyone was asked the question, would you like to fuel, this actually says fueling our dreams, yeah? So the dream business of your life, the dream relationships, the dream, whatever it is, let's just say fueling, like it's the fuel to do whatever it is you want. If you had the chance to do that with any vehicle, but today specifically we want to talk about property, what would your response be? I'll put it in the comments and let us know, what it is that's going on. Because ultimately, oh, fantastic. Yeah, ultimately, what's going to be happening tonight is we want to bring you some hard-earned lessons that you would have, look, put it this way, either way, you pay. Either way, you pay. So either way, you're going to pay for your mistakes through what old school people call trial and error. Yeah, trial and error. Or you're going to pay to get on the right path to not make as many mistakes. Or more importantly, and something that's missed out massively by people, is that when mistakes are made, you don't just go bury your head in the sand. You got people around you, stay accountable, you got the right training, you got the right coaching, you got the right mentoring, so you don't just disappear and go and hide, because that's what a lot of people do. So it gives me great pleasure. We were just chatting before, 1 year ago when we did this Money Monday. Was it branded Money Monday then? I think it may have been. So now we're going and streaming live across the Real Life TV network. Yeah, and last time I was not at my usual office location. And once again, Mark and Claudine have found themselves on the Real Life Money Monday panel for this discussion. And we're in different locations. So we're going to also be talking a little bit about that as well, because my goal, like a year ago, my goal was to be able to run all of my business from anywhere in the world, all of my businesses, all of my ventures, all of my things that I've got going on from anywhere in the world. So if you've got any questions around any of that or around lessons that have been learned in property, then get them over here. So because tonight we're going to be talking about these wonderful couple here that have been raising millions of pounds in finance. They've also just sold a plot of properties, or a street. It's not even a plot, it's a street of properties. Yeah, is it all confirmed now? It's confirmed? Is it confirmed?
Yeah, well, we obviously need to get it over the line, but yeah, offer accepted, let's say.
Offer accepted, 1.6 million. I think that's a cracking deal, both sides, cracking lessons, cracking way to live the life. So that's not any, and well, by the way, whereabouts is it?
Barnsley.
You see, Barnsley, 1.6 million pounds worth of property in Barnsley. It's not like London, or it's not like Mallorca, or it's not like Portugal. It's like, get you half a house or something. This is, we're talking about Barnsley, 1.6 million pounds worth of property is a big deal. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah. So, and all of the trials and tribulations from running business from a different country, because we know we have a lot of people who come into the real life community wanting to run portfolios in different countries and in their own country, but some people, they love the UK for whatever reason that is. Maybe it's because we're there and we're showing people the way. So thank you so much, guys, for coming on here. Let's do a little bit of an introduction and give people the scope of, you know, what you guys have been into, how you got into property, and, you know, where you are now. Just give the condensed version so people might then have an idea of what questions to ask.
Cool, absolutely. Yeah, we're super excited to be here again. And again, Mark is in a different location. So we've got, we seem to like this overseas Monday sessions, which is cool. So thank you for having us. But yeah, so we started in property about 3.5 years ago. And we were just like, hey, I had a corporate job. And as you say, Mark, I was working part-time. You know, I was working from 7 a.m. in the morning, getting home at 7 at night. It wasn't very long hours. No, it was really long hours, lots of commuting. It was really, really stressful for me at that time. And I was just like, look, I need to do something different. So that's kind of where the property door for me started. And it started for us about 3.5 years ago. And we never looked back. We started, and like anything, just like the deal that you were just talking about then, we just wanted to go all in. And the reason for that is that we had such a clear goal, which is very similar to yours, which is that we wanted to be able to run businesses anywhere in the world, right? So we were absolutely adamant that we were like, we're going to live in Spain, we're going to make this business work for wherever we want, and we can spend time with our son and build the life that we want. So that's what we did with it, babes. We decided, let's go for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we did. So we started with a few buy-to-lets, you know, because I guess in some places they kind of all start small, start slow, start small. So we kind of did that, and then when we joined real life and we started working with Mark and Trisha and the crew, we were like, we need to speed this up. We need to make the outcome happen quicker. So then we started investing in more HMOs, and over the 3 years we've bought over 20 properties. And over a year ago, about a year and 5 months ago, we were lucky enough to be able to make the move to Spain, and we now live here and run our businesses in the UK. So it's been a different year to what we expected, that's for sure. But it has been an incredible lifestyle. Our son goes to international school here, and you play volleyball now.
Hey, listen, we seen some people here the other day that was playing volleyball, but not with their hands, yeah, head and feet, you know, football style.
Yes, we do that as well. I'll do that as well.
Yeah.
So
one of the goals.
That's my side, babe. What's yours, babes?
Yeah. My side is simply,
That's my side.
we said, we want to go back because we lived here 8 years ago. We said we want to come back, and we didn't know the vehicle we we're going to use to come back. We just knew we wanted to come back and live abroad. And then Claudine said, right, I'm going to do property. And then she went on a course, and then nothing was really happening, and nothing was really happening. And then obviously then Mark and Trisha were doing this, because I think Trisha went on the same course as Claude or something. And then nothing. And then obviously real life started. And then we literally just, the focus was, when we make a certain amount of money, getting in the car or getting on a plane, getting on a boat, getting on a ferry, we're going to make it happen. We're just going to do it. And literally, we actually missed the first we earned that amount of money, and literally missed the September to get Hugo into school. We missed it. But we got the financial target we reached, but we didn't actually come over. And then we said, right, after Christmas, we're coming. And it was focus was, I remember the focus was, and the work, Claudine up and down the motorway. Oh my God, bless her. Yeah, she put some hours in. To be here now and see what we're doing, and that, it's worth it. It's worth it. I'll say it's worth it.
And you guys are a good team, right? And you bring different things to the table. And what I think is great is, especially when you've played against World Cup winners, you bring that certain competitive edge and that focus to the team. So just tell us a little bit about that and how that's helped you.
Yeah, I mean, simply because I used to play sport, I was just like, Claudine said, right, there's the goal, literally there's the goal. And it was like nothing was gonna stop us, nothing was gonna stop me. Super focused. I'd probably walk through fire. I'd probably walk through fire because we were just like so focused on our goal, achieving our goal at that time. And so my sport has helped keep me healthy and focused. Stay healthy.
Health is so important because I tell you something, the emotional roller coaster that can sometimes happen in life in general, just because of society and propaganda and the media and everything else that has happened over the last 18 months. You could even probably say even 18 years, 18 decades, it's all the same thing. There's always this thing going on. So we always think it's us now, right? Like, oh, right now we have the problem in this time, at this point in time. But it's the same thing that's always happening. So let's talk about, because what's funny is, technology is so amazing. I think this is actually what makes it easier to run business. Lewis is on here right now, I can see, and he was just saying the other day how cool it was for him to be away and on holiday, and he was able to deal with things as well. So a lot more frequent traveling can happen. And what I just want to make this point on how awesome technology is and how we need to make sure we make the most of it, especially in property. Because when I left school and I went into construction, it is the most like Jurassic type of industry, like technology. No, we just use a piece of string and a pin and shove that inside, and that's how we get the level and stuff. But then technology of lasers and different levels and all this different technology started coming in, and the people who didn't adopt it, they were the ones that were struggling in construction. But then the business side of property investment and developing, they didn't bring in like the technology what other organizations have, like back-end systems and structures and employee managed project management systems, all of this good stuff. But the ones that did, they started to get a little bit ahead. The ones that didn't, they struggled. And I found myself on my PC the other day, and it's happened more than one occasion, and I keep slapping myself out of it, just going like, oh my God, why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long? And then I'm like, hold on a minute, like internet banking. To be able to pay builders, contractors, transfer money, pay, see, at the end of the month has just gone. So I love the end of the month, for a different reason now. I used to love the end of the month when I was employed because I get paid. But now I love actually paying out because it's a time for me to reflect of all the value that I'm getting. Like I'm paying all of this money out because of the value I've received for the last month or the input that someone has gave me for whatever it might be. Yeah, and I actually just realized, wow, can I imagine actually, I don't know about you guys, but I used to get paid by check when I first left school. Can you imagine, like, you get paid check and then I have to go over there?
You're old enough, Mark.
All of this crazy stuff. So now, like, click of a button, and I even just, like, because I've got this long list of people I've made payments to before, I actually just found, in the quick search, because there's no search bar, right? But I actually just found I can type the name and it automatically goes there, so I can pay people quicker now. And this sounds like a little tiny win, but I'm just trying to make a point of how much we take for granted, how much easier things can be, and how this can be translated using this technology in cash as well, Lewis. But there was some check, some cash, So how awesome technology can be in property investing, and the people that haven't adopted it, they're struggling. The people who are not utilizing it, they are struggling. And how do I know this? Because I've also been one of those people that have had to backtrack and backdate all things into systems. And now with every new opportunity, every new project, every new business that I'm starting out in, I have this now know-how of not just how to do it, because most people know how to do it, but actually the ability to do what I know, because I know how painful it is to now do the backtracking. So I want to know from you, in your projects, in your property business, what are some of the things that because we want people to get some value here of like, what do they need to make sure they pay attention to, like now, before they start making these moves? So what are the things that you have had to backtrack on and like go and sort out, which you wish you'd have sorted out in the beginning?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's definitely a few things. So I think actually you've helped us with this a lot, but I think one of the biggest things that we were not really tight on right at the beginning was just in terms of our numbers, in terms of our profit and loss every month. So just knowing how was each property performing, i.e. to the level of detail of, this is how many rooms there are, this is how much rent is coming in, this is how much rent should be coming in, because there could be a delay or whatever happens with tenants, and then knowing what the expenses are and really getting a hold on those. And so we had a kind of a more basic system, but obviously by the time you get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 properties, it becomes a much bigger task to go through. So for me, like, it took a good 6 months, and then we were like, whoa, what is going on here? But we learned the hard way, because we learned through a few of the properties. We were like, hold on a minute, this is not making quite as much as we expected. So it created some pain for us to be like, hold on, this tenant left and we hadn't realized, or this person was paying late, and we were like, what's going on there? So that us was, in terms of system, now having a bookkeeper and a profit and loss that is issued every month to us, so we can see. So we don't have to be the people doing the inputting of all the data, but at least we get an output that says this is what's happening with each property. So now we can go through with the accountant or just with ourselves and be like, actually, what is going on? So is our management 15%, or is our management 10%, or what are the utility bills? Is that 10% of our profit or 20%? So it just gives us a really good overview of what's going on. So for me, that's like, if anyone needs to start something now, it's that. I would say like 100%, just keeping track of those numbers and just knowing, because then it just enables, like, when you do it for one, you can do it for 100. And that's
what's interesting about that subject, obviously all the many people that we trained and coached along the way, is it's a place of avoidance. It's not like people don't know what to do. It's not like it's not like, oh, I forgot to do it, or it's not anything like that. Because put it this way, in the front end, where people are working out numbers to decide whether they're going to do a deal or not, all day long, I see many people using that, like going over it diligently and using it as an excuse not to do the deal. They use it as an excuse not to, so like they got it right in front of their face. They don't even leave their house. They just procrastinate. I need to build a masterful spreadsheet before, like wasting time on that. I mean, if you want a spreadsheet, you can actually get it as like a little bit of a bonus when you register for Property Secrets Exposed. You just tick the box, you can buy it for just a few pounds. The one we use to create and do over 16 million quid's worth of deals with. And continue to use this sheet in all the millions of pounds of deals and work that not just I'm investing in, but also the construction business is doing. Like, because we don't take on a job where people don't know their numbers. No. Like, we'll help them understand the numbers, because we want to make sure it works for them. We're not just the type of people that do the job. Like, let me just do the build work and on you go. No, it can't be like that. Yeah. So coming back to this number, so they procrastinate on the front end, but then on the back end, all of a sudden, they're not paying attention to it anymore. So it tells me, over the years of experience of doing it myself and helping other people, that it is the avoidance of doing it, because they use it as an excuse in the beginning, and on the back end, there's always an excuse of why not to take care of it, which, like you're just saying, and I can see Lewis is saying it, is critical. If you don't know what, and it sounds obvious and like, oh, why wouldn't you do that? But the people, they just don't do it. And when you're coaching or the mentor and all that emotional roller coaster, people avoid it. I mean, some people are not even in property. They avoid looking at their bank account. They don't even know what's in the bank account. They don't know what's coming in. They don't know what's going out. They don't know when it's coming in, when it's going out. It's insane, and it's just an avoidance thing. So what else have you avoided in your property journey that now you can give some people some insight to that, so they can learn from it too?
What else have we avoided? Plenty.
Where do you want to start?
Where do we start? I think also it's really interesting actually, but I think from both of our skills, I think like from some of like a lot of the training courses we've done, I think both of us come out as quite very strong team players and strong leaders. So for me, what was really surprising was that I got into this pattern of like, and I know I think we both do this as well. Sorry for talking for you. It's like doing things ourselves. And I got to the point I was like, when I was in corporate, I was leading really big teams and doing very little myself because the team was way better than me. That's what they were there to do. That's what they wanted to do. But then I guess kind of starting my own businesses, I became a bit more like, oh, I got to do it all myself. So I think that's, again, the avoidance there was, oh, I got to pay someone to like help me with some of the things that I'm doing, or I think I can do it better myself. And it really shocked me that I had that mindset, because if I think about how I operated before, it really wasn't like that at all. It was in fact quite the opposite. So I became quite a different person until, then we took on a VA and kind of like an assistant, and just makes all the difference. To be honest, at the beginning, just to give people a tip, they started, what did Sarah do? Like 4 hours a week or something like that, which, because they're so efficient and they're not in the whole thick of it, they've got their tasks for 4 hours a week, and that was it. And for me, that already made a difference. And then obviously that's gone up from there, but that's how it started, isn't it? I think we did avoid that.
Mm-hmm.
So explain, what's the fine line between, okay, in corporate, because this is what I see, or this is what I took from what you just said. In corporate, it's not your business. And when it's a Hugo organization, like little mistakes, they kind of absorbed by the big corporate machine that it is. Yeah, when it's your own business, if you're starting out, if there's mistakes and it costs money or costs time, or you're paying someone who's not being efficient, then it can very quickly suck stuff out of your company and you can be in trouble. So then what's the fine line between people wanting to do everything themselves and holding on tight to it, versus then just saying, okay, yeah, I'm going to delegate everything else out, and now you haven't got a close enough eye on it, and it goes pear-shaped. Tell us about that. What's the difference between that?
What's the fine line? Firstly, I think before anything happens, you've got to be super clear about what you want them to do. And once you're super clear about, this is the role that they're going to do, these are the elements of the job. And this is, we were doing some system stuff yesterday. We were saying some things we still have to do. So, it's not a case of us doing absolutely nothing. There are still parts of it that we want to oversee and that we're going to do. But then we're just super clear, these people, this is their role. So, but it has to be delegated. It's not abdicated. It's a case of saying, this is your role. I'm trusting you to do it. This is the expectation. This is what we want you to do. However, we're also overseeing it. That's very much our role, because you're right. The difference is in corporate, a few mistakes here and there, it kind of flies under the radar, or it's not as obvious. But when it's in our own business and as it's growing, it is a lot more painful, isn't it? So.
Oh, just when you're saying that, because I just kind of reviewed what I said when I mentioned that, and it's in the book. If you haven't read this book, anybody, by the way, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. Yeah, because he states like all these tiny little things that are happening, either they're moving you up towards success or they're moving you down towards failure. If we say success and failure is the polar opposite, but it could be anything. It could be to your goal. It could be away from your goal. Yeah, and I just realized that, because I always say this actually when I'm training businesses, like people who want to be in business, it's like companies don't go bust overnight. It comes to the press and the media overnight, but it's all those tiny little mistakes that were never corrected or acted upon over time. And I mean, sometimes it could take 5 years, 10 years, depending on, what's actually going on and what industry it is and all the rest of it for a company to go bust. I've seen many go bust from having the insight of what's going on internally, and working with venture capitalists who do diligence on companies to buy. And I'm just like, you never know what's going on inside the company, like the almost the politics, let's say, and all those little mistakes and all those little inefficiencies. They're tiny. You can't see them on the surface, but then 2 years later, the company is, in trouble. Yeah. Or when, like if you're in a weaker position because your little things have been chipping away, then something like the last 18 months happens, boom, that wiped many people out because of the inefficiencies. So it is a fine line between the two. So tell us about some of your, projects, some of your lessons. Lots of lessons you've been learning from buying 7 houses in a row. And I think we should delve into that a little bit, because I think there's a lot of misconception, not to do with your project. I just think in the whole property thing of like, either I do nothing, does that make me okay? Well, no, because I did nothing. Do I go all guns blazing and make loads of mistakes? Oh, no, can't make mistakes. Or do I try and walk a tightrope and go slowly? Or, but then I have enough momentum to win anyway. So it's like do nothing, I lose. If I do everything, I lose. If I stay in the middle, I lose. And that's what I think creates a lot of procrastination, or like what is it called? Like dipping your toe in the water.
Yeah. It's like, shall I not?
Yeah. So tell us about your projects and how you may have been any one of those 3 areas.
Yeah, I guess the 7 houses in a row, to go into that, because that's it's a fabulous project, and I get, there are so many challenges. In fact, I'm going to write a book. There's 15 books, in fact. I think there's going to be that many to write about
on that one project.
Well, Mark's like, oh my god. But equally, it's such a fabulous project all at the same time, and I feel really proud to, that we've like stepped forward, and there's obviously more than just us in the team who stepped forward and actually took it on. And the reason for that is that those houses were, and I was the person that got to view them before we bought them. And I can tell you, never in my life have I ever seen people live in that condition. It shocks me to this day. When we bought the houses and they were totally ripped out, they were still freaking me out because of what I saw in those houses. It's just the conditions that people were living in. I saw a small child in there. There's stuff in there that was really, really, really horrific. So I think what I feel most proud about is that we've had people from the community come and see them, and they just cannot believe the transformation that those houses have created, because you can understand the level of pain that the neighbours and everyone else was going through with this large street of houses that was creating havoc for them and their community. So I think in terms of project, I feel super proud that we've been part of that, and that we've been able to transform that into something great, and that it's going to go to a supported living provider who's going to be able to use those for the great good of people that need it most. So I think that's like, despite all the challenges, I'm always just focusing on that for me is the greatest thing. And I think if anyone's procrastinating, that's always the most important thing for them to bear in mind, is actually what are you improving, what are you adding value to. And if you go in with that attitude, I think like the payout will come, and the good outcome is there, right?
Yeah. I think, Claudine, if you sit on the fence thinking about deals or whatever, then it's not gonna it's just not gonna happen, is it? So Claudine saw this when she came home. I've seen these seven houses. And she was like, "Shall I? Shan't I? Shall I?" And then she just went in. And you have to take action. You got to take action.
Yeah. So, sometimes people take action though, or they have at some point in their life, and they get like, there's a phrase like, oh, they get bitten. Yeah, or they bit off more than they can do. Did you ever feel at any point in any of the projects that you've done that's what you had done?
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
So why was that? Like, how did that feeling come up, and like, what did it do to you, in your journey?
The bite off more than I can chew was like, I think it was just the racking up of different challenges that I guess none of our power team necessarily saw coming, or that I didn't have personal experience in. So just for example, like the utilities upgrade required was way outside what people had expected. And so just, again, my lack of experience in terms of dealing with that level of utility upgrade, and the team, our learning curve was like of having to get that done. We got it done, but it was just at that point we were like, what the hell are we going to do? There's kind of that moment of like, wow, this is crazy. I feel like out of my depth at this point. But then that's a moment, and then I'm like, okay, but I'm in this project. It's got to be delivered. We know what the outcome is. Got to find a way. So I found the CEO of the companies, and we found a way. It took a lot of stalking and a lot of messaging and a lot of like phoning, but eventually we found a way and we got what we needed. So that's just one example. But I think that's what created the out of the depth feeling at times, was just the level of different challenges that we
But
had to do.
okay, so sometimes you talk about some of these details, and people are like, "Yeah, you see, that's why I don't do that, because it's not all blue skies and everything is hunky dory and all the rest of it." I mean, that's one thing to say, but my question, when that thought comes up, is what's the alternative by not doing it?
Do nothing.
Yeah. So have you ever thought of that? Have you ever thought of that, and has that thought ever come up?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I think in this moment, particularly during that project, obviously in the last year there have been many challenges, outside of just property, obviously, and I think there have been times when we're like, actually, is it just kind of easier to not do it? And there's fleeting moments when that happens, and I think everyone goes through that, where there's real moments of doubt. And then, but like exactly the question you just asked, like, what's the alternative?
So what do you
do? To do nothing, go backwards?
Exactly.
Oh, I'll go get it. Okay, cool. I'll do that.
Yeah, so what do you do? Because that's either people have already started and that's happening. They've been doing it for a while. That's happening, or they're not even getting in the game because that's happening. So how do you deal with it when that starts to come up?
How do you deal with it?
You've got to be in it to win it. You've got to be in it. Got to be in it. You just need. Is it that simple? I know. I never said it's simple. But if you don't get in the game, how do you expect to achieve what you want to achieve?
Yeah. Do you know what I do? Is I revisit why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So I go back into the goals, and I go back into the outcome, and I go, why am I doing this? And even though it's a habit we have every day. Why are we doing this? What's the goal? What are we doing? But then like when there's massive moments of doubt, which come up anyway, regardless of what anyone's doing. But then it's just like, why? What's the goal? What's really in it in the long term? And is some short-term pain with utilities worth it to get a much bigger outcome? Of course it is. It just doesn't feel like it at the time, but it is. And now we're legends at utilities. I'm just saying. So now our level of learning it's gone up.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Either way, you pay.
Yeah, it's right. Correct. Either way.
Either way you pay. So either you pay. Yeah, I mean, I'll just pay $30,000 just to get consultancy on one niche area of business. Yeah, because either way I'm going to pay. Either I pay for someone to be able to take me along a route where I can be more, because I don't think it's mistake free. Yeah, there's no mistakes, but more like I can get back on track quicker. Rather than me trying to figure it out for the first time, let's go and find someone who's already made the mistakes. Yeah. Or I'm going to make the mistakes and I'm going to maybe go really far off tangent before I realize, oh, wow, I need to be actually go this. Oh, nobody ever told me that before. And so I'm going to pay for all those mistakes. So sometimes people are, oh, why do I pay 10,000, 20,000, blah, blah, blah. I mean, especially the people I work with, my family, the area where I grew up, these guys still think it's insane. Some of the people still don't even know what I'm doing. Maybe they think I'm some kind of, criminal or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, because that was the thing when I was growing up. It's like, if you're successful, you must be doing something illegal. That was like a saying. Yeah. So, or you must be ripping someone off somehow. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. So either way, you pay. So I'm going to pay $50K to get someone to put me on the track, or I'm going to pay probably $250K, if not more, in making the problems for myself. Plus, I got all the mental headache, the emotional scarring. Because let's face it, once you do something for the first time and it's painful, like when you're a kid and you touch that electric fence. Yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only kid that did that. Now, you don't want to touch any fence.
No.
Any fence that looks like it could be, going to give you the shot. It's like, I'm not touching that fence. Even stuff that's not. It's not even an electric fence. It just looks like it. It's like, I'm not taking it. Yeah. So that's what happens. You get the emotional score. So either way, you're going to pay. Yeah. And that's what it comes down to. And I don't think it's a society, or definitely not it's not called education system. Let's call it schooling system. That's what it is. People just get schooled. They don't get educated. Educated is to draw out brilliance, and that's definitely the opposite of what happens. In the mainstream. So so in the schooling, you don't get taught any of that stuff, and if you do go and take action and you get hurt and you've not got the right training, coaching people around you, like people think, oh no, just more training. What's cool? People always say, oh, is there another upsell? How much your training costs and all this stuff. And in business, when we say, hey, like, you want this level of service, we want to provide the best. This is what it is. If you want to go even higher, it's more. There's always an upsell. You book a travel. You book on an airplane. You get there and they're like, oh, you want to upgrade to this? Oh, you want to take this baggage now, do you? Oh, you got to pay this. Oh, hey, by the way, everything is happening for you, all inclusive at your hotel. But do you want to go premium because you get X, Y, and Z included in it as well, and you can book extra slots at the restaurant. And it's like I used to be very skeptical and hold back and be like, oh, you want more money of me? No, thank you very much. I'll be okay with this. Yeah, and here's my massive learning in life. Either way, I pay. So like I've been traveling all around the world to run businesses, start businesses, help people in business. I've been to training events all over the world, staying in hotels, and I always would try and like scrimp and scrape and say like, I'm going to stay in this hotel and I'll just travel there because I'd rather just walk in the morning. I'll save some money. And so many times I paid the price. I paid the price because one time the Google Maps was a little bit out, and it was like a 30-minute walk, and I'm like, no way can I be doing this there and back every day, especially in the morning. Sometimes finishing at 2 a.m. and the next morning I was like, I gotta get a taxi. So my taxi fares there and back cost more when I added it to my hotel bill than staying in the hotel. So either way I pay. And another thing is, it's like, no, I'll just go with this level of service or this level of accommodation or travel, and then I end up paying again because like I pay through the lack of experience, or I pay because I got to go and find venture out to go and do more things to get the experiences. Like rather than pay the money to stay in a resort or something, I was like, no, let's just go stay here. We'll find our way around. We'll customize our own thing. It's like, no, that's what you pay for someone else to do. You're there for like a period of time. Why would you do that? So either way you pay. And sometimes, and the hard thing is sometimes the bit you pay is you don't get the experience that you want. You don't have the time to do the things you love. You don't enjoy it as much. It's more, it's a harder lesson to learn, because then we start to want to justify and just say, oh no, it's okay, and blah blah blah. So how does this also happen in property? Either way, people pay, and people, they just want to do it by them. But do you know what they don't understand? What they pay is not just like, oh, I made a mistake in my property. Because sometimes people pay for coaching and mentoring, and they don't even take advantage of it. If you've got it, and you're not showing up and you're not like utilizing it, it's your job to utilize it. If you're not utilizing it, then you're also going to pay again, because you didn't ask the question, because we think either we're too busy, we didn't have enough time, we think we know it, it's all going to be okay. Maybe we don't think the other person knows it. They've never done it before. But just brainstorm. Like, I tell you something, in business, when you can target and focus brainstorming sessions, magic happens. And I'm doing it with people. Like if I sat there and said, I'm the one in my company with all the business experience, I'll just sit in my office by myself and come up with the idea. So stupid. Some of my people in my team, they experience on paper, they don't have any. We've got some young guns, coming through the ranks right now, but there's they come with the best ideas. Even my kids have come up with some ideas. If you want to do this, either way you pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my. Yeah.
Is it like was it a penny pincher is the pound loser? What are you? I forget what the
I had to learn that lesson many times before I realized.
Definitely.
That. And all the hotel with the building projects, trying to rush things. There's a saying in the trade, yeah, measure twice, cut once. Yeah. Yeah, there's a saying, yeah, and it took me like I remember doing this building project. We were doing a loft conversion. This was when I was young. I was only like 20 years old or something, and I was just ventured out. I started a construction company, but it was more like a sole trader type of thing. And we had this loft conversion. We put in the big RSJs in, the steel girder, both sides, so the joists were going to be supported, the new floor. And I remember we cut a hole of a few bricks in the gable end, yeah, the side of the house, because this was a 3-story house. There's no way we're going to bring something that whips the house through the house. So we like bear hugged it up, some tower scaffold, 2 people, yeah, me and one other person, bear hug, yeah, levered it over, put it in to the roof, and then we was like, let's have a rest now. We let go of it a little bit, and it started to lift the whole roof up, because obviously there's only a few bricks on top of the bit. It was right down the corner, like in the eaves. Yes. Yeah. Shoved it in, and we got it in, and then I ran all the way in the house, got up back into the thing, pulled it through, and we'd obviously put the plinths, what we want to be laying it on, and I pulled it on. The person on the other side was like, oh no, wait there a minute, and he pulled it back onto his one, and I was like, oh, what? I said, wait, and I pulled it back on.
Joking.
And then
He's joking.
The penny dropped. I was like,
too sure.
And do you know what the funniest thing was? And it still happens today, but like I've been working on it, and this is what I like to help other people work on it. I went into denial. I was like, it's not, like, I knew it was too short. The penny had dropped, but went into denial. I was like, it's not too short. Maybe it was something we can do. We can bring the bricks closer or something, which is just obviously totally, stupid. So anyway, we just shoved it to the side and had to order a new one. So, it just comes to when you think you're going to cut corners. That's one thing I got from my dad. The one thing that I did get from my dad in terms of everything is you've got to do everything properly, even down to making the tea. Because I used to make the tea rubbish on purpose, so they would stop telling me to make it. Yeah.
Did that
well, it's one of the best lessons I learned in my life, which was to continue doing it properly. Yeah. Like to continue doing it, and I'm glad he made me keep doing it. Yeah. And in fact, he asked me this question, and this was good for all your business and your property journeys, guys. He asked me this question. He was like, okay, if you were running this site, because he was running a site that I was working on one time, and he said, if you were running this site, who would you get to make the tea? And I said, whoever's like the newest person on the site, or the youngest person, or something like that, I said. Yeah. And he was like, no, whoever is the best at it. And that moment, I think at the time I didn't realize how much boom that had. But just think about that for a moment. People, like, when you're delegating, you're building your teams, like, the good thing about properties, you don't need to have loads of employees, like contracting builders in, solicitors, brokers, architects, coaches, mentors. Like, you contract people in, you pay them to come and add the value, and then you're not like tied into all of this, other stuff that comes with the employment, which is a whole other thing that people have to go through to learn, really, to be tax efficient and make sure, and the whole leadership side, which is awesome. But yeah, that thing there changed everything. Yeah, it changed everything. Like, you've got to do everything properly, and who you can get to do it, whoever's the best at it. And I think it was a clever way for him to kind of motivate me to do it as well. It's like, oh, I'm the best at it. Oh yeah, I'll do it because I'm the best. Yeah. So it was clever from him, but I don't think he realized how much that changed things. That whole doing everything properly thing. I mean, I still made mistakes for years of my lives not doing stuff properly, and still the odd time here and there I do it. But I've got more reminders now to keep me on track. Yeah. So give us your, because we're gonna.
Did you end up making good tea?
I mean, maybe you could be the judge of that, because I only drink like herbal tea now, which is not very cool. I mean, I don't know how you could get that wrong. Yeah. But yeah, many other stories about making tea, which we should save for another time. But they are fun. Yeah. But my point is, like, how do you translate all the messages from the learnings from every business on the planet? Apple, McDonald's, Amazon, Starbucks, all of these companies. How do you translate it and put it into practice for your business, for your real estate business, for your property investing business, and using it as a vehicle? Because what I love right now is, crypto is fantastic, make loads of money. Everyone's pooing their pants and all the rest of it, and asking me, what you're going to do and all of that. And it's just like, what I'm going to do? I'm going to carry on investing in property. I'm going to carry on building a property business because, it's solid. I don't know if they're going to switch that crypto thing off. If they do, hard luck. If they don't, I'm sure I'll still make, more millions. But one thing is the property, and making it a business makes it solid. So I want your top 5. Yeah, you can share them out. What's your top 5 things that you you had to pay either way? Yeah. So what's your top?
Top 5 pay either way.
Yeah. So you pay either way. So let me give you an example. Your first one was you didn't ask or bring the question to the table around what to do with the utilities. So then you had to backtrack. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And actually, I think with that one, the number one of like paying either way on that was that we didn't want to hire someone specifically to run that because we thought it was too expensive.
That is an amazing lesson. Thank you so much. If that ever happens to me where I've got a choice to hire someone to come and do it properly or save money, I know which one I'm going to.
Yes, I'm going to save money, but it did not save me at least 95 hours on the phone. So I don't know how much my time is worth these days. Not a lot. So yeah, that was a chunky one, I think, wasn't it? What about you guys?
Four more.
Project manager. Was it correct?
What you pay either way? Examples.
Yeah, example. Well, was it the project manager? Getting the right project manager for the job.
Yeah.
Because if you don't,
we paid either way.
You're going to pay either way.
Yeah.
There's one.
Yeah, not vetting that properly, not being being clear that they can handle the scope of what was required. Yeah, and so our responsibility. But yeah, we paid either way on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, so what you're saying is, let me bring someone in, because listen, we did this before on a few projects. Me and Trisha working on a few projects. Like, this builder, he's much cheaper. Let's go with this guy. Yeah. And then it ends up costing so much more in actual physical cash money just because the quote said it was less. And this is the thing. People are like, that's a bit expensive. That's a bit expensive. What? It's expensive to pay. Well, you're going to pay either way. So, work out which way you want to pay. Yeah. 3 more.
Definitely. Pay either way. Do you know what? I'm 100% with you with the hotel thing. We've done that when we've been training, obviously with you guys. We've done other training courses. Damn, like every time we're like, we'll go to this hotel, or we'll see if we can do an Airbnb, and then it's like half an hour away, like you say, and then you end up walking. And then we make up the story where we're like, it's really nice to walk, isn't it? In the rain when it's -3. So, oh my God, I'm laughing because there's more Mark. I'm sorry. I'm always like, let's stay here. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I spend too much. You do another one. You've paid either way.
Right. What? Paid either way. So is it? I don't know. Team having the right. I don't know. It's working with the right people. Working with the right people. Have the same sort of values and the same sort of goals as yourself. Because if you don't, then you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay. Either way.
One thing I heard Grant Cardone say a while ago, this is a few years, probably 2016. He said he put a list of top 7 things for his success or something, and one of them was something along the lines of pay to play, which he was saying pay to play, meaning he paid for a seat at a table. Now, most people frown upon that, or as if like, oh, what, you got to pay to, you know, hang around with people, and it's like some of the places are, some of the places where I paid money. It's not been exactly. Sometimes it is very direct, like, you know, I was there and I was with these people, so oh my God, things changed drastically. But sometimes paying to be somewhere, you know, on a training, and the more you pay, by the way, the higher the caliber the people are. Usually. So then you're around these people, and then something indirectly happens. So in 2016, when I was hearing Grant say this, I kind of knew it was the truth, but like all my old conditioning of, you know, what is this, you know, garbage about, was probably blurring it or diluting it. But I think that's what you're saying, Smudge, there, is get the right people around you. Okay, so one more, where you paid either way.
I think either way, we've paid either way. I always say what we've invested in coaching and training is like we would have paid either way. We would either have paid by taking 100 years to do it and making loads and loads of mistakes, or we just paid for the right people who inspired us and who we know are high quality. And we've invested, you know, and obviously real life in you and Mark, you and Trisha absolutely are those people. So for me, that's like, I've paid either way, but that one was a decision made with I'm paying the money because I want to save the years and years and years and years of me having to do it by myself all the time. So
yeah, absolutely. I've lost count of the amount of people that, like, they're sending us messages and sending us, you know, their success stories, and we're building this success vault so people can, you know, go ahead and watch all of that stuff, where people are saying, yeah, I built this £1 million portfolio, I bought £2 million, I'm working on this project, I'm converting nightclubs, I'm, you know, buying streets, I'm building sites now. And it's like, okay, wow, you know, remember in the beginning where it's like, oh, you know, 5, 10K, you know, 15K, oh, wow, that's a bit expensive to pay. And it's like, oh, hold on a second, so really, if you didn't do it, it would have cost you 2 million in assets. Yeah. And forget all the rest of this benefits and all of that. It's just like, it would have cost you 2 million. Now think about the trade of 20 grand versus 2 million. You know, it's insane.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's nothing.
Nothing.
And actually, I was reading the book. It was the T. Harv Eker book. I think I don't know if it was in Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, but it was one of his books or in one of his videos where he was saying that rich people will pay whatever it takes on a course, even if they learn one new thing from that course, even if they meet one person from that course, or one thing from that book, or one thing from that course, that they will then take that forward and use it. For them, it's an investment. It's their return on information that they're going to use. And if for one thing they will do it, and that's the difference between those who are like, oh, I don't want to spend £100 on the. Okay, well, you pay either way.
And here's the thing. I got one powerful question I'm going to ask you before we wrap it up. But like, this is what we did for Property Secrets Exposed. We ran a couple of them, the virtual events, yeah. And then what we decided was, hey, look, you know, I don't want people to be like I was, and like their own mind or their past conditioning stopping them, or the people around them stopping them. So like, we wanted to remove the barrier. So you know what we did? We said, you know what, the 3-day virtual training costs a lot of money to put it on, because it's, you know, a lot of intense work that we do. But here's what we'll do is people can register for the program, yeah, and come and attend the entire 3 days, and only at the end of the 3 days, then they'll pay the money. Or only if they loved it, though. Only if they loved it and it changed their life. If, you know, you thought it was garbage or it didn't do anything for you, then, you know, you don't pay us anything ever. And I just think, look, if that's the hurdle that's stopping most people, we remove that hurdle. So now give me your next excuse, or show up. Because I'm sure there's going to be a whole host of other excuses that stop people, but look, we remove the main one, which is, look, don't pay us any money. You just come to the program, enjoy the program, learn the program, make your money there, raise your money, find your deals. You know, I found deals. You know, raise money. You know, I don't know, loads of people did. Over the last 2 events, we raised over 2 million quid in the event. In the event. People after the event, hundreds of thousands of pounds, which probably add up to more millions as well after. So, you know, people who come to the event for the entire 3 days, then they only have to pay after it. Real Life Property Secrets Exposed.com. That's what it's all about. Yeah. So one super big powerful question that I'm going to ask you here. Yeah, and before I do that, I just want to thank you so much for coming on here, sharing your knowledge. You know, we could be here for hours and, you know, deconstruct all of your learnings and your power, your passion that you've gone through the last 3 years just on this particular journey for property and all of that. And I'm sure we're going to work with you to help you write that book as well. You know, so I made a mental note of that because it's a great way to really, you know, do it. Yeah, so...
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming in there. And listen, if we just change one person's life, we give that one person that one thing, you know, it's been worth it. But I know many people who will watch this and get lots of benefit from it. So thank you for that. So
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. It's a pleasure. So here's the important thing, yeah, because there's this thing going around. And I think the way to get people on track is we must make sure that they never, ever, ever forget that they must do the right thing for the right reason.
The right reason.
Now, why is that?
Because that's the only way to discover your true potential.
Yeah, baby, you heard it here first from these guys directly. So thank you for watching this Real Life Money Monday production, courtesy of the Real Life TV network. Until next time, we will keep doing the right thing for the right reason because it's the only way to discover your true potential. You better get that tattooed on your face or your chest or something so you never forget it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for everyone watching. We'll see you all soon. Take care.